Welcome back to today's video, and today's video is proudly sponsored by Adrian Flux. Did you know that Adrian Flux had over 50 years of experience assuring classic cars like this with modifications like that? They even assure beautiful examples like this, our 89 Classic Mini, with agreed values, limited mileage. Go check Adrian Flux out now in the link in the description below to find out more and get your car insured. Right now, on to today's video. Let's get this thing driving, shall we? So today's episode is on the Volvo 245, and yeah, it seems to have melted.
That's my fault.
Right, so we're going to start today. It's obviously outside. We're going to start today from here. So this is the carburetor off the 245. It is a Stromberg of some sort. You can barely buy bits for them, especially in the UK. And when we had it running last time, we worked out that it would run okay, it drives okay. There's obviously an issue with there's a diaphragm in here and it won't idle at all. And we've kind of narrowed it down to being this. You will now see in front of you, if you're into your Classic Minis, there's a Classic Mini manifold. And here's a HIF 44 carb, or HIF 44 as people like to call them. What do you call it, Matt?
HIF.
Yeah, it's a HIF, that is correct, Matt. So this is off that, thank you Mrs S. And we're going to try this. We have, in development stages, got a 3D printed bracket which will allow us to run the Volvo airbox, and Matthew is working on that.
It's in work in
progress. We are testing it on another vehicle, and we basically have worked out that the SU carb, this, pretty much bolts straight on. So we're going to see, because at the moment it won't start and we can't get it in the unit. Ready?
And we've got to get it in because
what do we have to do, Matt?
What do we have to do?
Yeah, you've already done it, haven't you?
I've already done it.
So we need to modify or take this off, don't we?
We need to take this off, so we don't need anything here. I've got a little bracket which should, so you still got your choke.
Yep.
And all that lot, so we need to make a little bracket. You need to drill a hole in that little.
Yep. So we can do that now.
So that goes down to the choke, and then we need to get another bracket, and I won't say bodge, but modify the throttle cable so it goes on this side rather than this side.
Yeah. So we're running out of daylight, and it's beautiful weather in the UK here, and we've got to get this car indoors. Let's do it.
Do it.
So we're all cleaned up, new gasket on. Look at that, that mini carburetor.
Straight on.
Like a glove.
Straight on.
Look at
no
that.
problem. There we go.
Even it's quite cool, that air filter, but we want to run that eventually. But for now, for the purposes of moving, what?
Yeah, we need
feet.
Yeah, yeah, before it goes
So
dark.
let's bolt that up, and then I can see it's got the Volvo linkage on it now for the accelerator and stuff. So right, I chuck you guys in time lapse because time is of the essence again. And look at that mini carb.
Gonna work.
Gonna work. Be fine. Be fine. Look at this bloody snow. Looks very very Swedish though, doesn't it?
Looks very Swedish.
Times don't fly too high.
Let's go. First start with the HIF 44 on.
What's it gonna do?
What's it going to do? I'm going to operate with choke manually. It might take a few seconds for it to fill the bowl.
Ready?
Let's have a go.
Far in the hole.
Go, go, go.
Oh. I think we've got a dead battery now.
Really? Is it dead?
Something's just gone hot and smelt very badly.
No. Might have been a starter. Is it not turning over at all?
No.
Might be stuck on, that's why. But I said it would release them. Try again.
Why do we do this at -6? Ready?
Go.
Come on, girl. Got her?
Come on.
I need the carb setting. Just yeah, the settings on the carb.
Probably, but we're just
Oh!
so close. It runs.
It runs.
Hey!
The concept kind of works.
A bit of tuning required.
We're back in a bit. So we're inside now, and it's just started on the button. Having a brew, trying to warm up because it is -4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 10.
It's cold.
It's just cold, yeah. But yeah, look at it, little mini car.
Yeah, this works. Starts on the button.
So if anyone's interested in a bit more on this, we'll go into a bit more detail on it in the next video. Right, so wind on, I think nearly 2 months since you saw us bring the 245 inside. It's now back outside. You've seen the video on Matt's car now. You've seen the video on a 144 now. Things have changed. The 245 has to live outside. We haven't got any space in here. Currently there's another car to the side of me and the camera here that we don't have any space for either. So it does have to live outside. It's under a cover. It's an all-weather good cover, don't get me wrong, but it's not ideal. You can't just uncover it, work on it in this weather because it just rains all the time. But we got a dry day today, so I thought I'd just run through the parts that we've collected for the car. We're gonna have to do a little bit of talking, so the people that don't like talking just have to put up with it. But we've collected loads of parts. We've not used the time, like, we're not wasted our time. We've used it wisely to source the bits we need just so we can crack on now. So over here, we've got pretty much like everything we need. So I've got a spare set of wiper arms, sorry, for an early car because one's broken. We also worked out the water pipe was leaking down the side, dripping on the exhaust so we could hear it. Brookhouse Volvo once again, genuine Volvo part, way too shiny for my car. We're gonna have to get this fitted and it looks a right ball ache, but we'll get it done. We've collected things like new wiper blades. We're gonna got a new rotor arm and dizzy cap. We've got a set of leads to make up with the tool from AccuSpark. We've got diff oil, which I don't know if we'll get around to in this video, but we have got diff oil and a new gasket, and we've got a couple of cheap engine oils just to do a good flush and see where we're at with stuff like that. So we've also got a full heater box here, a complete setup, and we just need this, basically the valve, and you can't actually buy these anymore, so we've got to hope this is a good one. Mine's leaking around the union that's there, and it needs brazing to fix it. It's brass or copper. So we've got this complete unit because we thought, well, you know, it's even got the panel and stuff on the front and things like that. We thought, well, we might as well actually have it in stock. So we've got this whole thing, but we just need that off it. So we'll pinch that in a bit. So like I say, we've got all these parts now. We can get cracking. There's a leak on the windscreen as well. We noticed when we left it outside for a few weeks. So, you know, it's one of them. We're just gonna have to sort that. The clips are notoriously a pain because you have to kind of move them a little bit to line it up with the trim, and it's all just a pain in the ass. So we're going to get that fixed off camera because that is a hard job just to try and get right. But we're going to focus on the waterways. So basically the floor gets wet. You can see how wet that actually is, because it's actually currently dripping as we're speaking out of that valve up there, so it doesn't look particularly fun to deal with. And it's just, yeah, it's an absolute pain. So we're going to get on with that. We're going to sort the waterways out first, I think. I don't know how much I can film. Obviously, you can see it's a bit of a mess in here, so we need to get that fixed, but we've got to stop this because this is going to wreck the car otherwise. So let's get the coolant drained out and then get that job done first, because that looks a right pain.
Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world.
Well, that was a fight. So a couple of Torx bits on there to get the actual part off. That's just like a little heat sensor that sits up inside there, goes inside the airbox. So we're going to leave this as is, so I've got a bit of a reference point. I'm going to take the one off the car. Obviously I can't film that, I can't see what I'm doing myself, so be right back, hopefully with a problem part. Right, so with the glove box out of the way, it seems like, oh, look at all that debris. It seems like the most logical way to get to it. So there is our part in question, and thankfully the one I've got does look the same. So try and get you guys in a little bit closer. You can see how corroded that is, and you can see actually where it's leaking there, where the green kind of corrosion is. It's dripping down that pipe as well. So I'm pretty confident that's the problem. I just need to make sure I can get to everything I need to get to. So that heat sensor comes off round into here, and these are just clipped on. So I'm thinking that's the same. The pipe, it comes off around there. That looks the same, but we might try and change these clips. We might try and take the whole unit out and just put the whole new unit of the other one in. Just make my life a bit easier. Otherwise, you've got to go upside down to get on these screws here. And I think it's probably easier to leave my new one, or good second-hand one, in situ and build it back up inside here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to get these pipes out, get a bit of a tray to catch the water. The carpet's done most of the job for me, but let's just keep going. It's a good chance to check all your connections and wires and stuff while I'm in here as well. So I will probably leave the dash out, the glove box out while I do all this. But nothing looks too tampered with. It all looks genuine, which is quite nice. Oh, it's wet. Oh, that's wet. Oh, that's horrible. That stinks. So, oh look, I've got these vents. It does work too. Fuse box, that's where that is, if you're ever wondering on a 240. That's a massive relay. There's your wiper box, your wiper motor. Always a good fun job to do. So let's hope we don't need to worry about that. But right, let's keep going. We're procrastinating. Right, so we've got this now loose, dangling down, and you can see clearly, just pop that wire up out your way, it was completely leaking around the base of it. So I don't know how well that fits up on camera, but you can see all around there is moisture, and obviously this one is in a lot better condition. So just got to get the rest of this out now, and we'll get cracking. Excuse the bath towel soaking up the water out of the carpet. So one thing I did notice is this like heat probe sensor, it ran into a box slightly further forward of this. So this heater box is obviously an earlier one than the one I've got the tap and everything off. And on my car, so this essentially is exactly the same, but on my car, the heat probe that you see there runs in and goes basically up inside the aperture, the split between the two casings, two ends of the casings, and up inside. And I was looking at it as like, how do I work around this? I don't want to get all bodgy. And I just looked, and the this, if you're just putting them tabs out, you can take it out the top. So that's what I've done. And there we are back in. The heater controls all move nicely. You can see it up on there. We're all back in, and like I say, I swapped that plinth over, so we got the heat sensor or probe from the original heater box onto this Matrix, just slightly later car, or maybe an aftermarket one, I'm not sure. Everything's buttoned up now. Obviously there's no coolant or water in the car, so we can't test it. So for now we're going to get on with the next heat pipe. which is all the way down here in the depths. It runs around the side of the engine and around the back into that pipe that I've just disconnected. So we're gonna get on with that next. So like mentioned, we've got this lovely Brookhouse Volvo pipe which goes that way round into the engine, so that goes into the back of the water pump and then that follows round. So I think the brake in it is somewhere around there. I'm just trying to find out where that bolt is in comparison on the inlet. Oh, basically the moisture all over my hands, the brake's right where the bracket is, so I think the brake or the split is there. It's just corrosion. So you can buy stainless steel ones of these from America, but my argument, it's lasted 50 years, so they're outlived me. So we're going to put that on. Some fiddly time later, you can see all the moisture around that, right around that bracket that holds it to the block. So that is the old one out. Now I just need to fit the new seal and get the new one in. Pretty crusty. I mean, there's no real comparison there, is there? That is a goner. Literally 2 hours later, that pipe's fitted. Getting that to line up under the manifold, it'd have been easier to take the engine out. And I'm not just saying that, it'd have been easier to take the engine out. I know it's a bolt, but it fought me, and I was hanging in the engine bay. It hurts. Yeah, I'm just moaning now, but it's in. It best not leak. It doesn't. Very, very shiny pipe down there. It's all connected back up, so the system, the cooling system is all back together now, and in theory, hopefully, won't leak. So we're going to top it up now, and we're going to see what's what. So the cavalry's arrived. Hey! And we're up and running. So it was a carburetor fault. It wasn't set up right. Obviously this has come off the classic Mini, but we're ticking over now. We've got coolant topped up. We don't appear to have any leaks inside, so we're just going to see if it gets hot again. But I mean, it's a little bit cold out. I don't know if that's just steam. It could be smoke. So, but yeah, she's ticking over nicely. Engine sounds pretty healthy. We've done a compression check as well, and it's pretty decent across the board, pretty consistent, so I'm not worried there. Let's see how we get on with the temperature. I'm running again, but it keeps getting hot. So we've just swapped out the thermostat to the one that originally came with the car. The top hose is now warm. We think we might have sorted it, although the temperature is still trying to rise. Hopefully it's air. I hope it's air in the system. But yeah, we're in here at least. At least we're up and running again, which is all good fun. Look at that wobbler. So she's running a lot smoother now. Got race car AptiSpark blue leads. How many BHPs has that added?
Well, when you put the actual rotor on, I mean, correctly, a lot.
Yeah, we're trying to crank it and it just, yeah, I just didn't click it in. But yeah, this is definitely a lot smoother now. There's no like missing in a spark of it. We just got to see if it gets hot. So hopefully we've let it settle now. See if it's in the middle. Hopefully it stays there. But we're getting there. We've diagnosed some of the issues with the back wiring, which is just awful wiring in that corner. And a few bulbs needed, so everything works now apart from them few bulbs. Horn works, fan, all the blowers work, everything in the interior works now, which is good. It's all just dodgy connections and stuff like that, but who would have thought this car's been sat for 19 years? And there's River, the other one that we rescued. She's moved from her spot. Give her a blip. Release bearing's a bit noisy. What a thing. So as you saw then, we took it for a bit of a drive around the yard and it's still getting hot. We've tried to bleed it as best as we can. If there's an airlock in it, we can't get it out. It could be a faulty sensor, could be a faulty gauge. It doesn't get any hotter, but it gets hot, if you know what I mean. So we've made sure we've got the right thermostat in it, things, bits and pieces like that. The knocking noise from the strut was my error. I just hadn't tightened that up. So we've got rid of all the noise. It drives fine, needs the tracking doing. Everything seems to work, the brakes seem to be adequate enough, but we need to just give it some miles and see how it gets on. So all ignition leads are done, all that's done, it starts on the button lovely. While the engine's nice and warm, I'm just going to drop the oil, we'll do a nice service on it. And we have got this adapter bracket which allows us to run the airbox onto this carburetor, so we'll have a look at getting that on there. It is, like I say, a test piece. It probably does going to need to be made out of billet, but for now we're just going to put it on there and see how we get on with it. If we get air leaks, and obviously we're going to have to address things, but really this is the cold side, so you know, it shouldn't get too hot. But yeah, it's really nice just to see it moving. It's gone a bit further now and it's getting there, and we know what's wrong with it, and yeah, it's good to just have a good plan with it now. So I can put all the interior back now because we haven't got any leaks in there anymore, which is nice. Everything seems to be working as such. Wiper arms, you'll notice, are not on, but the wipers do work. I've still got a leak on my windscreen, so I need to have this trim back off. We'll sort that out, and we're just going to be chasing faults like that for a little while. It hasn't been on the road for 19 years, do you know what I mean? So we have got to take it slow with it a little bit, but we're getting there. We're on like the final like 6% now, which is really good. So hopefully by the end of this video, which has been filmed over like 3 months now because I'm getting time, but we're getting there. We really are getting there. Chapman's just fixing, don't know what he's doing. But yeah, if you want to help the channel in any way, we've got some stickers in the link description below. Not that one. Shout out to Vice Grip Garage, but this one. You get these? Winner. Right, I'm gonna drop the oil while it's nice and warm. So it's a new day, and like mentioned in the previous bit, we still got it running a little bit too hot. So I do think it's time to try and, I mean, it's fully legal to be on the road, but I don't want to go out on the road just yet until I get kind of this stuff sorted and a few niggles just sorted. We managed to get the daytime running lights to work again. That was intermittent. I do think there's just some dodgy earths and some dodgy bulbs kicking about in this car. As you can see, it's up and running, idling, absolutely lovely. It's been left overnight, started on the button. The water level's okay, the oil level's okay. We seem to be all right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try and take it for a bit of a drive. So inside here, the temperature is sitting about there now. So we've done a few fast idle things, and this has now been running for about 20 minutes and it won't get any hotter than that. So I don't think it's a temperature problem. I think it's either a sensor problem or there's just an airlock I can't get out. I've had the sensor out this morning first thing, cleaned it on the wire wheel, put it all back together, checked it. It seems to be working. Obviously it's working because it's giving us a reading, but I don't know if the resistance is right on it. I don't know. I don't like electrics, I will admit, can't stand them. But I think what we should do is take it for a drive. I don't know how well I can film this because I'm on my own here, but we should try and take it for a drive, maybe try and get a mile on it. So I've got a good mile of private land that I can play with, so we're going to give it a go. So let's put the cap back on and see if we can get this temperature to come down. Right, so I'm going to set you guys up in front of my rev counter, but I still can see the temperature gauge. I haven't got any mounts. Let's stop that flashing light for fasten seatbelt. Let's see how far we can go. The fans are on, so I'm trying to keep the heat circulating around. Just need to get this temperature down. But it feels like a car, I feel like we're getting somewhere. Everything seems to be working. A few things are intermittent, like radio, but who really cares about that? So let's see. Do apologise about the camera angle. I've got the speedo that's reading about 5, about 10. Let's see how far we can go before, you know, if it gets hotter then we've obviously got a problem, but just need to see how we can get on. If I can get a mile on this, I'll be really happy. So we're moving now, we're still in first. I don't know if all the gears work yet. I mean, that is something that we do need to think about, but God, it's warm in here. One thing Volvos do is heating very well. one thing to note, there's no, apart from a few things in the boot I can hear rattling around, there's no real like knocks and bangs, which is good. We did have one, we sorted that. Let's turn that fan down. It's very hot in here. Got a bit of a weird rotation-y noise. Don't know what that is. I'll have to investigate that. It quietens down the faster you go. So you're joining me with this first run. I don't know what that noise is. That's an interesting one. But this lane is very, very bumpy, so if we're going to have any issues, anything's going to fall off, anything's going to stop working, it's going to be now. Temperature gauge has still stayed the same, just above the neutral, but I don't like it being there. It shouldn't be there. I don't know what that noise is. Also to note, we are about to enter out onto some actual road. So should we try and get through the gears? Second. Third. Probably not fast enough for fourth, but we're in fourth, so all the gears work. Let's go out to third. Don't know what that rotationally noise is. That's an interesting noise. Stuff in the boot's rattling around a bit. It's like a scrubbing noise. It's a bit weird. It doesn't stop when you brake. Temperature's still not moving. Right. Obviously I'm on my own here, so I do not want to get stranded if anything goes wrong, and I'm not fully confident. Tracking needs to be done, but reverse is lovely. We do reverse right there. Temperature is still stayed exactly in the above that neutral, which is shouldn't be there. Give it a pull. In she goes. She's motoring. Okay, there's a noise that I really don't like the sound of. I don't know, it's gone now. Fixed is fixed. Needs to kind of go over everything. Everything needs, you know, I've done a nut and bolt check on most things. I say most things, nearly everything. I'm not an idiot. But there is a few things I have missed because I'm in and out of projects all the time and it's a pain in the arse really. So, but I wanted you to come for this drive. Temp is still not going up. The car isn't getting hot. It's so weird, but it's just reading too hot. It's got to be a sensor fault. We're going to head back because, like I say, I am on my own and I'd like to not ask people I don't know too much for help if I get stranded. So we're going to head back, see how we get on. But you've come for the full drive, guys, because you come as much as I can for stuff. But this is, we've just ticked over a mile. We've done a mile. A mile, first mile for 19 years. There's a weird, like, rotationally noise. Temperature's still the same. What is going on with this car? All the rattling's in the boot. Don't worry about that, guys. There's all sorts of junk in the boot. Pulls alright, you know. As far as I'm aware, she's still got an automatic diff and this car's a manual. It swapped to a manual back in the 80s. But there's a weird rotational noise which I don't like. So we're going to go check that out. But we've just done a mile. So right, get parked up and let's get in the engine bay and see what's occurring. exhaust is blowing. Oh, it's so warm in here. It's horrible. Horribly warm. What is this? Modern cars aren't this good. Right, let's get an engine bay, guys. We're setting it together. Has that thing exploded? I don't know. Release bearing's a bit noisy. We can handle that. We'll just live with that until it goes. Let's have a look. Don't know what that noise was. I'm going to have all the wheels off anyway. Now it's done a little bit of mileage. Bit of movement even. But there's nothing spurting out anywhere. This lower pipe here is still cold though, that's my concern. This one's lovely, the thermostat's opening. The rad's getting warmer now though, which it wasn't before, so maybe just driving it a little bit is helping. Right, I'll catch you back in a sec, guys, but he's moving. He's moving under our own steam. Daytime lights are all working on it. Look at her, she's... Right, sometime later we've opted to try some liquid moly radiator cleaner. So lots of people recommended this to me. Now the radiator is a good second-hand one. It came from one of Jackman's projects and it's literally brand new. All my hoses are decent. I've flushed out the block as much as I can. We've obviously had the sensor out and it's cleaned out a bit of rubbish, but we're still cold on this bottom hose when it's idling. So there's obviously some sort of airlock, some sort of blockage potentially. This won't hurt. So I've obviously done a few drains now, so there's more water than coolant in there, but there is still a lot of coolant in the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this through it, get the car up to temperature, see if it can burp any dirt out or burp some air out maybe. Run it up to, it says for up to 30 minutes on the back of this tin, and we're going to just see how we get on. So if I have good results, I'll let you know how I get on, but loads of people recommended this, so thank you to those. So together with our radiator flush, I've actually got hold of a new sensor. Now we cleaned that one out in the previous part of this video. Just wire-wheeled the end of the probe. Now I haven't got a multimeter to hand because every time I come to the unit I forget the batteries for it. Go figure. So I can't actually check the resistance to see if there is a problem with it. However, for £7 or your fine English pounds, I thought it was worth a try. So to get a little bit of coolant out of the way so I can put the radiator flush in, we'll undo this, swap this in, run it up to temperature with the coolant flush in it. Now it'll tell us if we're getting the right reading on the gauge, so it's definitely worth a shot this. So I'll whip this out now. It's a good fun job right under the manifold there. So now we've put some space in the cooling system, we'll get this in. New sensors in, so hopefully we will have a better reading. I shouldn't smell it, but yeah, we're going to. So let's pour this in. It says put the whole bottle into the system, so we'll put the whole bottle into the system. This works, I'll be really happy. So we're going to leave that off, see if we can get a bit more air out of it. Let's crank her up and see if she starts. So she's not started for over a week. Let's see what we do. Good chance to check the oil as well. Oh, she's bob on. That'll do me. She's bob on. So battery back on. Tighten it up a bit. Be fine, be fine. So on this HIF carb I've not hooked the choke up yet, so bit of choke. Come on, car. That wasn't bad, was it? I'll sort the choke out in a bit. So let's get it warm up. Says half an hour, let it idle. We're out on the road. First time in 19 years. We've got a dog with us too.
Piper.
Tony's come along, he popped along, and we literally got things buttoned up. We thought, let's go see Matt. So we're going to see if we can make it to Matt's. We've just done about 2 miles. First fuel stop as well. Started spluttering a little bit, so I think I've just picked up a bit of crap. But, well, I mean, tracking's a little bit out, but what do you think? It's going alright?
Up to now. Looking good. A little bit of a misfire, but
yeah,
it's pulling through.
This is mad. Well, we are somewhere, and we've made it. Look who's here! Look, it's an old friend. They've missed each other. Yeah, so we've maiden voyage. We've done about 8 miles now. Well, we've done more than that, 'cause we've done a few miles, but 8 miles proper drive. And we've learned a few things, but it's really not too bad. Looks well. Got a few dicky bulbs still, but we're getting there. Got Matt, Jackman and Tony now involved with this. Doggo looks really happy in the back. Look at her. But yeah, it's getting closer. Right, so only a week apart. The previous bit of footage you saw was 2 miles maybe done, and we were worried about the overheating problem. A few more little niggles, got some lights fixed a few little bits and pieces. Come back to it this week, we're flush. The temperature gauge is still sat more higher than the middle than I expect, but we've just done 18 miles in it, so just shy of 20 miles, probably about 20 miles actually, to be fair, and there's absolutely no problems. I want to go through a few more things. I might bleed the brakes again. I feel like there's probably a bit of air in there, and then we're so close, you know, first fuel stop and stuff like that. That was absolutely buzzing. So yeah, I can't really knock that. Sorry about that, like, haphazard kind of bittiness of this video. It's kind of been what it's going to be, but I'm so excited. It's really getting close now. So we've got a long road to go still, just with some niggly little jobs, but that's mileage, isn't it? So well happy. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I'm gunning for 20k subs this year, so please do try. And there is an update on the other projects coming very soon. Now, I've had a few answers and queries answered for me. Yeah, that's another video. Stay tuned.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some
Look at this in this sunset. What a thing. I absolutely love this car. I shouldn't love it as much as I do.
Everybody just
It's so cool.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.